Toyin, and this is Forever Together program. So I'm so excited to be here this evening, and I want to appreciate all the people that called during the last week episode, because many people called when it was 6 o'clock and we couldn't upload. So thank you so much for staying tuned. It gladdens my heart that people are following this story, not just the story but the testimonies that are being shared, and the things that we can get as a learning tips from the story. So this week I'm going to talk about my first-hand experience with my ex. But before I go into that, somebody asked that who is the ex and who is the actor, that I got them confused. So I possibly didn't really introduce my ex. My ex is one of the production crew member in those days, and sometimes when there was or when need arose, he may take a role depending on what the role and the part that he was able to do. So I will now describe him as both an actor and a production person. So, and I told you how he has been going to my sister's place to be sure of seeing me whenever I get to Lagos, which was possible eventually, and we met and the relationship continued. So, but something beautiful came up that seems very good. Then he had this production at Ado Ekiti, and don't forget that I was schooling at Ikere Ekiti, so I was very excited that he has come very close to where I was. So we were seeing each other frequently, but I didn't still allow that to take over my academic work. I was still committed to my academic work because that was the first thing that my mind was stayed on. So I was doing that, but we were seeing each other. Then one day, one of my friends, my roommate, then she's still my friend now, we are still in touch, wanted to go to Akure and asked me to follow her. And since we were done with the assignments and all that, and it was a weekend, so I followed. So, but by the time we were done at Akure, getting back to campus that same day, the porters told me that your fiancé has been here, because he was coming consistently such that he made his presence known to everyone. So I was told that he has been there 4 times that same day. I was wondering, 4 times, and I checked my time, it was already around 9 p.m. when we came back. Now, how do I convince him that I didn't sleep over in Akure? How do I create this trust? Because trust is earned. I may tell him, we came back eventually, but since there were no mobile phone then to video call to be sure that truly I was on campus. So how do I get him convinced? So I told my friend I must get to Ado this night. So I went to the main gate of the school and I begged the security men that my fiancé has been here 4 times today and I wasn't around, and I have to go to Ado so that I will know that I actually came back. You see, the way we women, we risk our life for something that is not tangible. Do we risk our life for eternal things? So the security men assisted me in getting a car that took me to the main town where I could get a car going to Ado. And because Ado wasn't too far from Ikere Ekiti, so at any point in time you always get a vehicle. So I got to the town, and fortunately I got a car, and the car was going beyond Ado Ekiti. I can't even remember where the man was going to, because he didn't wait again to pick another passenger. I was the only one he picked, and I was very afraid because the speed at which he was moving. We arrived at Ado under 20 minutes from that junction. I was afraid. In fact, when he refused to pick another passenger and it was already dark, I was afraid. If it were to be now, I can't in fact, if it were to be now, I would not take that risk. One, if I have to, I would not take a car that I didn't even know the driver. I won't take anything outside the motor park. So I got to the guest house where they were lodged, and surprise, surprise. So I knocked the room. Lo and behold, I saw my actor sitting down, and one beautiful lady sleeping, lying beside him, putting her head on his two laps, and he was. You understand that scene now? So as soon as I saw that, I said, oh, excuse me. So I shut the door and I went back to one of his colleagues. I'm looking at his face now. And for me, I'm this type that I don't relate. When I have a relationship, I don't relate with the friends of such person. Not that I'll be fighting them, but I believe that I don't have anything to do with them. So I face whoever I have my relationship with. So they've known me like that I hardly interact with them. But that night, because this time around is already past 10, so I entered that guy's room. He was shocked to see me, and he asked, is there anything you want me to do for you? I said, no, that I just want to sit and relax. I've come to play with you. That was the language I used. He said, play with me. He was confused because he couldn't place the play. When did I start relating with him that I will now come and sit in his room? He now said, okay, have you seen? I said, yes. And you just want to spend time with me? I said, yes. I said, I want to watch a movie. He said, and he knew that there was TV in his own room too. So I think he suspected. He now said, okay, excuse me. He got up. He went out. I'm sure he went to talk with him. I didn't ask for whatever the conversation was between them. And eventually, my actor came to when he said, he apologized. He said, see, that girl, don't believe what you are seeing. I've been telling her to leave me. She refused. You see, mention one actor's name. She's a sister to that. She was also a sister. That in this job, that girls can do anything. This. The moment we opened that, I told her my wife has come, that she had to leave now, and she has disappeared. I should please come. Wasn't that enough signal for me to know that is this what I'll be able to live with? I swallowed everything. But before he came to call me in, and before I went into that room, I went across, I got a bottle of 7-Up, so which I drank. And when he called me in, I swallowed everything he told me. I believed him that, okay, if she was actually a girlfriend, she too would have been, maybe there would have been a fight, or she would have refused to go and all that. Very naive. I didn't know that some girls, they already know how to play their games. So that thing worked anyway. So this relationship continued. But I just realized that everything was just going on, you know. Then when I asked why he didn't have a child until that time, he told me that, oh, he had, he had somebody before, but the relationship didn't work. Not marriage anyway, they were not really married, but the relationship didn't work. And is this person that doesn't always like to divulge secrets, but he said that the thing did not work. Eventually I met that lady, and the sister told me what transpired between them. So, and because of what the sister told me, I also believed, and I said, okay, possibly that was why the thing didn't really work out. So we continue. But one thing that I refuse to take into cognizance is that a relationship that will bring peace, a relationship that will last, a relationship that is godly will not be that type of relationship. That was one thing that I realized in life. So I finished my school, then we were planning that okay, we will marry and all that. But before then, immediately I finished my school. Now I've graduated with a distinction in maths, distinction in integrated science. I was to stay in Ilorin where my brother was that time. From the day I told you we are only two from my mom. But the wife advised me that there are so many opportunities in Lagos. So will it not be better if you go to Lagos? Then most importantly, this my brother actor may not like it, because since he's ready to settle down now coming to Ilorin is like trying to avoid him and all that. I said, that's a good counsel. Okay, there are opportunities in Lagos than Ilorin. So that was how I moved to Lagos. And I remember that day, as I was getting to Lagos, I had to see him first. So at the bus stop of his house, I saw one school. The school is still there now, though not in that location. They have moved to their permanent site. It's one of the biggest schools in Lagos. With my bag, I entered the school. That I just finished my school and I would like to work. I said, okay, where's your result? I had my statement of results, so I showed it to the head teacher, who was I don't really know where she came from, but she's a white. So I don't know whether she's any part of UK or wherever, but she's married to a Yoruba man. So that was how I started. How much was my salary? The whole me now, who couldn't afford 5 naira basin of gari, will now be earning 500 naira in just 30 days. I was so excited about that. So I took the good news now to my actor. That, can you imagine, as I was just coming, this was what happened, and it was also excited about it. But first I made up my mind that okay, until we got married, we will not live together. Let me get a place for myself. So we're both looking for accommodation for me. So that school was a very good school. And one thing that I've realized, that in this teaching job, teaching is a noble job. In this teaching job, if you are passionate about it, God's rewards are with you. I'm telling those that are practicing teachers now, and those that feel that, since I can't get another job, let me just be doing this. Please do it with passion and see how God will bless you. It's not just about the salary. It's about the blessings of God that accompany the profession. So there was this small little girl in my class, because I was in the early years. That was where I was posted to as soon as I resumed. So she became fond of me and all that. So the day I now got this accommodation, I had to look for 900 naira to pay for 1.5 years, because the room was 50 naira. In the eyebrow of Ogba, there was water, light, everything. That was why I have to pay so much for the accommodation, because at that time one can still get like 20 naira, 25 naira around Ojodu Beggar. But I said, no, I'm not going to live in the outskirts. So, and as the other colleague of mine that was to take me, we were discussing, then this parent came and was asking me, what happened, why are we standing? I said, nothing, that I just got a place and we are discussing on how to check the place and pay. So the following day she came, she asked me, was the place okay? I said, yes. How much? I said 900 naira. But I want to talk with my administrator to give me 500 naira against my salary. So she said, no, you don't need to tell her. So she gave me 500 naira. I said, okay, when I get the salary at the end of the month, I will pay back. So she said, okay. So that was how I paid 900 naira, 1.5 years rent for my room at Ogba. So, but at the end of the month, when I refunded this 500 naira, the woman did not take it. She said the moment I stepped into that class, that our child, that our daughter, was always eager to come to school. That she used to cry. She didn't want to come, but since I became the class teacher, that she had started enjoying the class, and they have seen tremendous improvements. I said, okay, so that it won't be like I'm collecting money from parents without the knowledge of my employer. I went to my teacher and I explained, this is what happened, and I've paid this money back, but this woman refused. So she said that it's not in that. Sometimes parents bless teachers like that. Okay. So I was enjoying this job, but something terrible was happening to me. We couldn't do the marriage. Everywhere I was being told that if you do anything now, that if this one is not like I will go to somebody to please pray for me. No, somebody will just meet me on the road and tell me that if you are planning to do something that will have to do with noise and all that, please don't do it if you don't want to lose your life and all that. When about 5-6 people have talked to me about that, I was afraid. I told him, I said, something that would be good should not be accompanied with fears and all that. He said, you don't know the devil. When the devil sees the glorious future, that is when the devil wages war. I said, okay. With that, he was able to convince me. So, and along the line, he talked to me about being a Christian is different from going to church. I said, yes. I remember that my teacher told me, one of my teachers told me at the college. So he encouraged me, we're going to church. In fact, we were among the first set that started Redeemed Christian Church of God at Rosie Cinema with Pastor Tony Rapu then. But you see, sometimes, even now when I sit back and I think about many things, it was like, why are you not even thinking? That time, I know that he had many friends, and you know, in this their job, in fact, they don't see anything that is that cannot be done. You know, this thing, you know, having this kind of relationship is like drinking Coke. You are drinking Coke, I get there, I take the bottle from you, I drink from it, and I give it to you back. That is how they were operating. But I didn't get it like that. I was just in that, oh, they were all friendly and all that. There was this particular person that was a very close friend that I can never suspect, because our own fiancé was also his friend. So I cannot even imagine that there was anything between them. And where I was supposed to even think in that line, I was so naive, I didn't even see anything. But I remember, if she buys any dress, there were occasions that we went to her house together. She would say, oh, I just bought this dress. Then that one would say, okay, wait for me, I will sit downstairs. He will follow her upstairs to go and check the dress out. I was not thinking of anything. So when your friend is checking dresses on another female, please open your eyes wide and be sensible. But I wasn't. So they've been doing like that, and to cut the long story short, because it's going to be many episodes, I will take him, I will lose the pregnancy. I will take him, I will lose the pregnancy. The 5th one happened on my birthday, and I was scared. And that day I made up myself, please, you've been encouraging me that things that will be better, devils will wage war and all that. I don't know the number of devils that are running after me now that I'm experiencing. I've never heard about miscarriage before. In my home, as large as my family is, I've never had, maybe it happened and they didn't discuss it, but I've never heard. I know that people do abort, but for the baby to come down by itself, I wasn't aware of that. I didn't have that knowledge. So he said, okay, that let us pray. Let's talk to your sister about it and let us pray. So we told my sister. The husband is then was not a full-time pastor, but in CAC church. So he took us to one of their pastors who were prayed for, and that man of God did something spectacular. You see, we have men of God and we also have men of God, but I know that there are still people that are being used by God, truly, that are truly being used. So he didn't ask us of any question. He just said we should kneel down. He prayed for us, and he said this issue that we brought, he mentioned it, and he said that the end will come to that if we obey God's instruction. Okay, so there was hope. So he told him that he's going to fast 5 days, that during the 5 days should do it wholeheartedly, that God will reveal some things to him, then we know what to do next, and after the 5 days we should come back. Okay, but I just felt that I've just been discharged from the hospital. If I go to my own house, who will take care of me? Then how can I stay in his own house, then cook and eat, and he will not eat? That would be like tempting him. So I said, okay, let me join in the fasting. So we started the fast. But now I have heard that people use the image of other people to perform evil. But I believe that if the image of somebody is being used to do evil, in the real life it's not supposed to be so. But just listen, so you'll be able to deduce whether this person's image is being used or she's just telling me who she actually is. So that first night, I can't forget, the first dress that he ever bought for me was a flowered fabric. And there was this Ghanaian lady who was the best tailor around that place that time. She made just a fitted gown for me. So in that dream, I was in that gown. We were in the parlor. Remember I told you we were living in Face Me, I Face You. So the room is separated from the other room. So we use one room as the parlor. We were sleeping in the other room. So we were in that other room watching TV in that dream. So this his sister came. Then the nephew, who happens to be the son of this sister now, was around that time. So in that dream, he was the one that called me out to tell me that my mommy has come. I've never met her before. I've seen her picture in the album. You know, not like now that you see pictures on phones, but there were a lot of pictures in the albums, and I've seen it. And he has told me that she wasn't in the country around that time. So we have never met physically. So he called me out to the passage of the building. And when I came out, she greeted me warmly. Then she made a sign to the son to go back to the parlor, which that one did. So it was now 2 of us. And the first thing she did was to use this finger to press my tummy. Are you pregnant? I said, no. I said, that was why I came. And she turned back and she left. When I woke up, I was confused. I've never seen this person, but I've seen her picture. And for the son now to introduce her to me, and the only reason she came to see me was to check if I was pregnant. And I just lost the last pregnancy. So I said, no, I'm not pregnant. So she went. But what was surprising was that the following night, I had a similar dream. And in that dream, she came. Now she has known me. She didn't need any introduction again. And she said, I should not forget what she told me yesterday, as if we were having that conversation in the physical. That what she told me yesterday, that I should not get pregnant, I should ensure that I don't. So as I was about to ask her why, she didn't even listen. She left. Third night, she came. She said she had made some findings about me, that where I come from, we are very stubborn. But as she's warning me now, I should please heed to her warning, that my stubbornness will not work in this situation. I should just ensure that I don't get pregnant. If I don't get pregnant, everything will be okay. So that third night, I asked her, why is your brother from same mom, why wouldn't you like him to have his own children? He said, well, just like you have said, he's my brother, and I do whatever I like with my brother. The fourth night, she came. This time around, she said she has come to give me a stern warning, that she has been coming now to warn me, and I should not be stubborn. So I said, okay. Then the fifth night, as she entered into that balcony, she removed her headgear. She tied it on her tummy. She really came to fight me, and I was ready for her. I said, since you cannot tell me why I shouldn't get pregnant, then I will get pregnant and heaven will not fall. And there's nothing we are going to do about it. So she said, okay, she did like this, and I did the same. So she left. But I was confused, not just because of the dream, but the way she was referring to yesterday and yesterday and yesterday, as if we have met, we were talking in the physical. So I have talent of dreams, but not this type. So after the fasting and prayer period, I now asked my actor, so during this period now, what did you see? He said that we went for premiere, we went to Germany, we went to London. I said, did we go to pray concerning premiere or about London or this? We had the purpose of going to that place. What did you see concerning the problem we took there? And he said he didn't see anything. So he now asked me, what did you say? Because I even felt reluctant, because this person is his sister, same mom. But he insisted that he has told me, so why wouldn't I? Is it not our problem? If it is our problem, we should solve the problem together. So I said, okay. So I told him all that I experienced all through the 5 nights. So, and he wasn't surprised. He just said that, oh, if that is it, that means that God has given us victory. That was just his conclusion, and I accepted like that. So God actually gave me victory. But now, after we had prayed, we had fasted, we have to go back to see the man of God, so that we know the next thing to be done. So that will be the next episode. You see, something beautiful will happen, that God's name will be glorified. One thing that I've realized, that despite all my several mistakes, anytime I run to God, He's always there to accept me. I don't know why He loves me so much, but His grace has been working in my life. And now that I've known Him, I've made a vow that I will not take God for granted. I will never take God for granted. I've done that in the past, living my life the way I do. Now I realize that without God, there's nothing we can become in life. The only thing that we can become is life full of regrets. And when I say become, now I'm not talking about money, I'm not talking about position, I'm not talking about academic achievements. All those things are good, but they can only be rewarding when we have a personal walk with God. These experiences were enough for me to take a decision to walk out. But I didn't walk out because I didn't allow the Holy Spirit to minister to me. I refused to listen to God, because God was in me, telling me, but I refused, because if He wasn't with me, He would not allow me to see those things. But despite that, I was doing it the way I like. So my sisters, my brothers, if you are living your life the way you like, when the problem comes, you will be the one to suffer the consequences, not God. There's nothing you will do that will reduce God. Nothing. If God says do this, do this, do this, it's for our own good. So don't see it as if, oh, it is so to serve God is too difficult. Because to serve Satan is more difficult. So I would like you to please, I don't know what you have gained from this episode, like being sensitive in the spirit and even being sensible in your mind, because there's what we call common sense. I didn't have it, because if I had that common sense, I wouldn't have come that far. So please be sensible spiritually and intellectually, so that life will not toss you up and down, so that you will quickly fulfill purpose. Instead, a journey that's supposed to take you just 5 years can take you 50 years if you are not sensitive. So please be guided. And next week, I will tell you what happened after these revelations, because it was a revelation. And after the revelation, you know, there's supposed to be a conviction. So what did I do with my conviction? I will tell you next Saturday by the grace of God. So thank you for always being there. Thank you for being, for always getting connected. And thank you for sharing, because I've realized that some people are sharing the story. So it's not just about the story, but the content, what we have gained from it, and what God has done in my life, that He will also do for you. He can deliver you, no matter how far you have gone. I've gone too far, but yet He redeemed my soul, and He compensated me, and He restored me. My restoration was with compensation, full compensation, and He can do the same for you if you are willing to turn to Him today. So thank you very much. Have a very beautiful weekend. Bye.